the zen of toxic relationships. Using suffering as a catalyst for your growth. How the narcissist empowers the empath. They felt like your fate. When you met them, you felt drawn to them. They felt familiar, like you had known them before, that it was your destiny, your fate, to be with this person. You knew this at the deepest level of knowing. They felt like home. You knew that they were meant to be in your life. You knew that they could complete you. They were your other half. You had finally found the one. It was your greatest dreams come true. And then it became a nightmare. The dynamic of these types of relationships come into our lives to reflect back to us the things that we need to become whole. This is a two-way street. They see in you what they need to complete themselves, and you see in them what you need to be whole. And what we choose to do with those lessons will be different for each of us. You can choose to grow or not. And this video is for those of you who have chosen to use it as a catalyst. These types of relationships, they are your greatest teachers. Toxic relationships come into your life not as a punishment, but they provide a platform and a portal for your growth. Great teachers come to us in many forms, and the greatest ones aren't wearing flowing robes or floating around on puffy clouds. I mean, think about it. How many thousands of spiritual teachers have walked this earth, and their message heard by millions of people? Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, Krishna, and countless more, in every shape and in every size and in every culture on this planet throughout time, all illuminating the path to oneness with Source. So we shouldn't be shocked to realize, since we live in a world of dichotomy and duality, that there must be among us great teachers who illuminate the path to separation. It's only logical that they would exist here too. And those masters are the ones that bring you your toxic relationships. They exemplify for you the path to oneness with Source by illuminating the path of being separate from it. But there is also a third great teacher here, and that is you, the empath, the victim of their abuse. I'm going to clarify what I mean by outlining here what it is that the narcissist is here to teach you. And then I will show you how to use their lessons to empower you to embody your strengths. Toxic, abusive relationships don't come into your life because you're weak. Leave that thought behind right now. It doesn't serve you. These relationships show up because you are infinitely strong, but don't believe it. So let's dig in here. What are the lessons of the toxic relationship? 1. Why did this happen to me? Uncovering what your soul already knows. Each party in a toxic relationship reflects back to the other the values that you hold about yourself. The abuser in the dynamic is often reflecting back a lack of self-worth, primarily that you believe that your worth is external, that love is earned through self-abandonment, that approval from others is the measure of your worth. And the lesson here is for you to realize your inability to speak up for yourself. The narcissistic see this silence as your consent. They see your kindness as weakness, and your compassion, that was exploited for control. And this type of relationship is in your life to push you to create boundaries. And the first one is the boundary within you between your giving of yourself and self-abandonment. What are you willing to give of yourself to placate another? Is this boundary in a healthy place for you? Are you hurting yourself because this boundary is out of balance? Compassion without boundaries is food for the narcissistic. And you are not here to sacrifice yourself for someone else. We're going to leave that kind of selflessness to Jesus, because he did it with intention. And I'm going to wager that you did not enter this relationship with the intention of being crucified. So this is where the second boundary comes in. Get selfish. Say no and find your voice to speak up for yourself. And this doesn't mean that you have to scream or yell. This doesn't mean that you have to explain or justify anything to anyone. Those are not requirements for you to say, no, this does not work for me. The only thing that is required here is for you to create that boundary and hold it. Is this boundary in a healthy place for you? Hope without wisdom is chum in the water for narcissists. 3. You are a master teacher as well. In my worldview, this universe was created by the intention of Source to experience other. And in that intention, it created a reflection, a mirror of itself. And this universe is that intention playing out. But I also believe that it was never meant to be a permanent state. That the intention is like a yo-yo, like a breath. It goes out, but then it returns. It is this essence of the returning that the empath embodies. You are the light in the darkness. And darkness, it didn't get the memo about the light coming back on. It's plenty comfortable in the dark, just the way it is. And it has zero intention of letting anything change that. And until darkness acquiesces to the original plan, and there will be struggle. These toxic relationships come to you because you are ready to graduate on the soul level. You are ready to embody your soul's mission. You didn't go through this experience because you are weak. What kind of soul would make a plan to come here to be victimized by the ones that they intend to uplift and help? What kind of soul would plan to play the part of a martyr? Let that sink in a minute, because that's the kind of soul that you are. And it's a very powerful one, a very brave one, and a very strong one. Realize that your power is not in what others tell you you are. It is in who you are. Nothing can dim your light that doesn't have the switch. Take your power back. So if you've made it this far with me, then let's get you some cards. And let's have Spirit give you some direction and some instruction on how best to use the toxic relationship as a catalyst to your growth. I'm going to draw 4 oracle cards. Spirit for our best and highest good as we journey through these toxic relationships, using them as a catalyst for our growth. What is it that we need to know? All right. Joy and delight. Open your heart to joy. Travel lightly. Simplify your life. Transformation. A fresh new way of living emerges. Answering the call. The time is now. All right. Next, let's go to some oracle cards. All right, so the advice that we're getting here is that returning to a place of joy in your heart, something that is incredibly hard to do when you're stuck in a cycle of a toxic relationship. The advice there is to travel lightly, meaning leave your baggage behind. And this brings that transformation, that new way of living and being. We talked about empowering and embodying your power, your strength. And then answering that call. If you're here and you're watching this, like I said, these relationships come into your life to propel you forward. Because you didn't come here to be a victim. You didn't come here to crucify yourself. You came in to hold light, the frequency of the return. And that is your call. That time is now for you to embody that frequency that you hold. So let's get some cards. A little more advice. Please, Spirit. How best do we travel this journey? Let's have some advice on how we get from A to B. How is it that we open our hearts to joy, Spirit? Simplifying our life. Joy. What makes you happy? Wish fulfillment. The Nine of Cups. Transformation. Lying on the transformation card. And the Nine of Swords. Taking action, moving that forward with your truth. Let's have some more cards here, please, Spirit. Let's build this picture. The Eight of Wands, the Five of Wands, and one more here, please, Spirit. Two of Cups. Healing on the bottom of the deck, and the Fool. Brand new beginning. Taking that, answering the call. And how do we go about doing this healing, Spirit? How do we go about doing that? Here we have on the table, we have the opening your heart to joy and simplifying your life and leaving that baggage behind, right? Finding the things being illustrated by the Nine of Cups card. And this is about joy, but it's about your happiness, your personal happiness. Remember how we talked a little bit about you need to get selfish? This can be interpreted as a kind of selfish card, but it is knowing what fills your cup. And that is important in what's happening with this understanding about bringing the joy back into your life. And one of the ways to do that is going to be to really focus on what is in these cups back here behind you, to get selfish, to think about you for a change. And simplify. Leave this baggage behind. Leave these relationships behind. Take your lesson, walk away, pack your little bag, You need very few things. Shed it. Let it go. And we have the death card. Transformation. On the transformation card. That this is part of that journey. Part of that journey is this shedding and letting go, to let those things fall away. The things of these toxic relationships, not to cling to them, not to cling to them, and not to be immersed in the what was, the what happened to me part of it. To focus instead on changing your point of view from a victimhood mentality of, why me? Why did this happen to me? What did I do? To be a part of this dynamic with a toxic person. Those things are important to understand in yourself about how and why those patterns may have been created in your life, to look back into your childhood, because 100% guaranteed one of your caregivers imprinted you with the empath. And we don't need to make an enemy of the abuser, because what we need to realize is that we're one, that they are a reflection there to serve you, that they are actually a gift, as difficult as that may be to comprehend or understand or have compassion for, depending on how long it's been. You've been in these toxic relationships, how bad the breakup was. It can be so tremendously transformative. So Phoenix-like, burned everything down. And that is a good thing. And to see that with the point of view of it being your ability to finally create those boundaries that we talked about. And those boundaries create this movement forward. Because answering that call, right? Embodying that frequency of light, of the return to source. That's truly underlying what this story is in your life. That you're ready. You're ready to graduate. You're ready to progress on your soul journey. And these relationships bring us the very hardest lessons. But it's graduates who get the hardest lessons. A PhD isn't easy to write. I mean, you're writing yours. And it's time for you to present it. And that is your truth, carrying your truth forward. Answering that call. And these two wand cards, 8 of Wands and the 5 of Wands. Conflict, competition, not going to be easy. You have to defend these boundaries that you set and create. You have to be willing to hold your ground. And that is what brings you back into the alignment with the divine purpose, to return to source. It wasn't forever. It wasn't meant to be forever. It was only meant to be a temporary experience, and source is through having that experience. It's time to go home. Healing. Bottom of the deck. The Chariot. The Fool. The Star. Can't get more beautiful energy than that. So this coming out, being a 5 and being related to defending those boundaries. This can be rigidness. This can be the traditions. This can be the thing that you might have the most difficulty struggling with and holding boundaries with. Because all of these things, these traditions, 10 of Pentacles, the inheritance of your traditional beliefs, that these may be the things that are causing the most difficulty, the most confusion for you. Meaning it's been something that these beliefs, these strict structures, these, I'm hearing mental cages, the structure that we are given through our culture as children, those beliefs being inherited, right? As I was saying, you know, it's like looking back into your past and into your role models that you had when you were growing up. We imprint the majority of our beliefs before we're 8 years old. Think about the people that were around you. You imprinted after one, both, many. Maybe you had a lot of people that were involved in your raising. Maybe you only had one or two. But as a child, we do not have the capacity to survive by ourselves before the age of 5. And we have to rely on those around us for our survival. We don't have a choice about who it is or what they present us with. We just have to imprint to survive. And that means that we take on the qualities of those individuals. What were their qualities? What were they like? Did you agree with them? Did you agree? Did you just take those and didn't rethink about them now, later as an adult? Is that really how love was supposed to be? Exploring these things. It's your key to your catalysts. Because that's what they're offering you. They're offering you the reflection of your traditional programming, right? And if we believed, if we were taught, if we were shown by example that our worth lies somewhere outside of ourselves, that our worth lies in the things that we do, the way that we look, it had something to do with an externalness, that we weren't necessarily given the example that our worth is just by being. You're worthy just because you are. Not because you're pretty, not because you look cute dressed up like a doll or whatever it was. Whatever it was. That you needed to sacrifice yourself to be loved. That to earn love, you had to do, give, or be a certain way. Not true. Not true at all. You are all you need to be. But embodying your full self, knowing what's in these cups, that's the key. That is the transformation that these terrible relationships bring. And it is great freedom. Great freedom. Brand new beginnings. Holding that light frequency. Moving forward in balance with those boundaries, holding them, defending them, knowing them, setting them. That's what builds this transformation. So I'm going to close this advice with a meditation and a healing ceremony for those of you that would like to join. So welcome to my porch, and let's begin. It's important that you are in a safe place for this meditation. A place where you feel secure in both your physical surroundings and in your inner world. This is a you place. This is where Spirit is asking you to be selfish and take this time for yourself. And sit in that safety and know that you are protected, that you are loved, that you are cherished, just as you are, just for being you. And breathe that in. Know that on the in-breath, you are safe and protected. Release the things that tell you you are not on the out-breath. Ground yourself into this protection, this safe place that is just for you. And we're going to begin by turning inward. And the first thing that we are going to do is acknowledge. Acknowledge the pain and the damage, the wounding that has been caused to you by these toxic relationships. Acknowledge those wounds. Opening your heart means feeling those things. You have to let them out. And you let them out with acknowledgement and recognition. The wounding is real. Don't be afraid to feel that, to grieve. That is normal. But we cannot stay in that place. We are here to purge that, to release, to allow and to accept the tragedy of this toxic cycle and embrace that part of you that is wounded. This is your heart. And many of us have built great walls around this wounded heart to protect it. And Spirit is saying, open. Open the door to your castle. Open the creaky gates of your heart. And let these prisoners, these woundings, go free. That these woundings are not yours to keep. They're not yours to hold. Nor is it your weight to bear. And we're going to allow these woundings to return to where they belong. The weight of these woundings belong to the wounder, not to you. Open the creaky gates and let them leave. Recognizing each one as they walk through the door or the gate, and move away down a path towards their true home, the place that they truly belong, which is not in your heart. Let this go. Wish them well and create a boundary. And the boundary says that you no longer need to carry the weight of the wounding done by others. And release this. Return it back to spirit, and you let spirit deal with the wounding. It's not your responsibility. Our responsibility is to learn the lesson of it and to grow. You're going to breathe in the feeling of that empty castle, of that open gate, of your open heart. And you're going to breathe out and release all the wounding incurred to you due to another's actions. These things are beyond your control, and you're going to let them go. Breathing in an open heart that has peace, and breathing out all of the wounding that has incurred to you through the actions of others. Come back to this safe place, your peaceful heart, as often and as many times as you need to release. But don't focus on the wounding anymore. Don't focus on the whys, the whos, the what ifs. Travel lightly. Leave the baggage behind. This is your safe space. Ground into it. Know it. Use it as your protection in the times that you feel unsafe, in the times that you feel you are being prosecuted, persecuted, and judged. Go through the ritual over and over as many times as it takes, I'm hearing. Because this is like the lancing of a wound. We have to let all of the bad parts out so that it doesn't fester, and release that wounding. So then it can begin to heal. And we can move into a place of forgiveness, a place of compassion for our wounder, to be compassionate and understand that they brought us something more than damage. They brought us empowerment. They brought us the ability to heal. Change your point of view and take your power back. And I hope finding this video has helped you with some clarity on that. And I hope that you have a beautiful day.